On this week's episode of In the Metal, you can forgive me, we're a little bit rusty here. Wrong trailer to kick off with, but hello and welcome, and thank you for joining me on In the Metal. It is so good to be sitting here, and a little bit scary, but as this is something that have always given me immense pleasure, a lot of enjoyment. It is so good to be doing it, and it's great to be back with you all today. In the Metal is all about watches, and in particular independent watchmaking and the people who create them. It's an absolutely booming sector today compared to what it was even 10 years ago. Independent watchmaking is really now where it's at. It has gravitated inwards from being out there somewhere on the broad scale of the watch industry, as increasingly attracting center stage more and more. So it's fantastic to be back. And the last time I was with you, I was joined on a regular basis by a guy who is a master of complications in watchmaking. He was head of complications for Chopard in the United States for restoration and repairs. Formerly a thrash metal legend, thrash metal royalty, and that is Dan Spitz. And Dan, it is fantastic to say hello, and how are you?
Hello to everybody. Hello, Johnny. It's wonderful to be back.
Dan Spitz in the house, everybody. So
wonderful. We started this ride, like you were saying, a long time ago, and we thought, me and you thought, independent was like exploding back then, but now it's really a wonderful thing to see. And we were speaking right before we came on how I'm one of the few people who can see the parallel between the early days of thrash metal music in the early 80s, when I helped to create that sound and that momentum and that feeling, that underground, the joy of the fans back then coming to see us in underground and following the underdog. And we were the true artists of our instruments. We kicked ass with our instruments, we try to blow each other off the stage each night. We had to be precise. And I see that same exact parallel in independent watchmaking. It's the same exact momentum feeling, and I'm going to get in with the underground guy, and I'm going to order a watch before anybody knows about it. I don't want anybody else to know. So it's wonderful. Not just that, but everything else across the board.
We will get to that because, as you say, the young guys that are coming along now, it's amazing. And here, folks, as you can see, I have not polished my act in any particular way. I'm still falling over myself on the intros, but Dan, it's just fantastic to catch up with you again, and because you're now in a completely new place. You're in Delray Beach in Florida, and I think life good.
Yeah, a few steps from the beach, living at the beach, workshops a few steps, like I just said, from the beach. Took a few years to clear my head and work on the high complications. And it's been just a wonderful ride, and meeting just incredible people along this ride and giving love back to them, getting their timepieces back up and running where sometimes other people couldn't. So they're gracious and joyous and happy. And it's just watchmaking across the board is it's incredible. The people we meet, that's what it's all about.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. We're talking about people that we meet because, there's so much going on in the sector at the minute. There's so many amazing young people and young brands and arriving I'm heading off to Geneva in 10 days time, and to spend a week over there for Watches and Wonders. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to get back on the in the saddle, if you like, for In the Metal. And but talking about people that we know, I'd love to introduce someone who is known for over 10 years. I met him, first of all, at an event I was invited to by Pietro, my friend from the limited edition. And it was a Seven Friday dinner and with Dan Niederer. And we've taken this amazing place that I had heard of, but I'd never been so lucky to be there. And it was a place called Jay's Restaurant in Basel, in the days of Basel World. And do you know what? That man is a legend. He has his own ecosystem floating around him. He is just, what do you call him? An entrepreneur, a bon vivant, a hard working chef. He is a hardcore watch collector, a big independent watch fan. And do you know what? He's right here, and it's Jayesh Kumar, live from Brooklyn in New York City. Welcome to In the Metal.
This is insane. I mean, I love this podcast. I love the way you guys have been doing things together. It's so cool to be a part of it right now. Thank you, guys.
It's Jay.
We appreciate
an absolute pleasure. And Jay, the reason that one of the reasons you're here, one of the reasons that you're here is because you kept telling me, Johnny, get this damn thing back up and running again. And I go, yeah, but I need all my ducks to be lined up, and I need, all the planets to be aligned, and I need,
nothing's aligned to align yourself.
So thanks to you, man, that we have it give me the actual kick in the ass that I needed to say, right, let's do it. And so I've changed a few things around here. I've same seat, but I've got the paintbrush out, and
looks good.
All is good. All is good. Well, if you can see the rest of this, anyway. So Jay, listen, it's fantastic, folks. Jay is going to join us on a semi-regular basis, part of the In the Metal team, and what our plan is going forward. We hope to talk to do some of what we did in the past, interviewing some of these incredible watchmakers, looking at their creations. We also look, hopefully, to do some news and reviews on certain weeks, and to talk about what's happening and what's new. And my goodness, there'll be a lot of new content happening over the next few weeks with Watches and Wonders. So there'll be a little bit of a mixed bag and a movable feast, if you like. But it's good to be here. It's good to have Jay down.
It's good to be here.
So
thank you.
So Jay, I've read about you, and just like everybody else, we all know that we can see that you have an incredible passion for what you do. But the human interest story, it's always it's what we're all really interested in everybody's story. It's, if I'm making a timepiece, it's the story. It's not the watch. It's the journey and the story and the years that the client waits. If I'm doing a service on an ultra complicated timepiece, I take them along that journey. I'm sending them pictures of the inside. It's a very honest kind of thing. It's not like they drop their watch off at a front desk somewhere. And that's what we're all interested in. And that's why our eyes, a lot of eyes are on you, because you have a wonderful way of collecting watches. And then, what your main passion is outside of watches, what you do on a daily basis. So you're a great story, and you're a happy human being like the rest of us, and going deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. So tell us about a little bit, about your journey. How does this passion inside you feel. I mean, we all see the watches you have and all that, and everyone's going to interview that way. That's not the way we work here. It's the humanness we want to know about. We want to know what the questions that other people would never ask you. You know, when you're cooking and you know, did you ever drop your watch in a pot? did you continue to boil it? Tell us something about your passion.
I think the first memories of watches is, you know, at home. You know, we used to have this grandfather clock at home. You know, the pendulum going, and you had to, you know, wind it every day so that it keeps the time. It used to be from a firm called Nayaks, Nayaks, and just in Mangalore, they used to make these beautiful, you know, timepieces. I mean, this big clocks, and I was like, this is insane. And every morning I would love to, you know, I would go and wind it. You know, I would like to do that because that was the way to start my day, and it was fantastic. That was one story. And the other story was my father. You know, my father was from a very well-to-do family. My mother wasn't. And, you know, they fell in love. They got together. And my father had, at that time, he used to wear this Datejust plexiglass, you know, beautiful 36, just amazing. And that is what it is all about. You know, you're looking at situation, and you had friends with, you know, the Seikos or the HMT watches, which I grew up with from Bangalore. The factory was in Bangalore, and they used to make these manual winds and beautiful, you know, faces and dials. But those were the watches which we knew about. There was nothing called quartz watches. There was nothing at that time which sort of, you know, made us look into, you know, battery powered or whatever. So just watches which was mechanical, something which, you know, passion, which sort of made a lot of sense to my little mind at that time. And that's where I got into this, you know, this little, you know, rabbit hole of of going into a place which I should have never gone at that time, but I did. But I don't regret a bit.
Fantastic.
That's what I like to see. Taking the break to do this in this workshop here, and seeing the ultra complicated people and what they bring in, and then the other people. Well, first they'll come in usually with a Rolex, you know, and they'll say, "Can you fix that?" And all of a sudden they see the workshop, because the other side here is it's just machines, it's just Shaolins, and you know, they walk in, they've never seen that in this country, you know, and they walk in and they're like, "Whoa, I got a bunch of my dad's beliefs in the safe, been sitting there for 25 years now. We don't trust anyone to fix them." And like the next day, it's like, dush. All these incredible works of human art hit my desk. And that's my passion. I always had a passion for the 30s and the 40s, all the way up to the 60s, before CNC. You know, when it was sleepless nights of watchmakers in Switzerland or Germany or wherever, coming up with these crazy ideas, just like a chef would come up with some kind of, you know, offshoot of a recipe somewhere. Absolutely. You know, it's just like, wow, you know, it's sleepless nights, right? To get it right. It's because it's that last little thing. It's all about the little things. Anybody can cook at home. Even I can cook at home, but it's not about that at all. It's that with me when it hits my best. That's where my passion lies. All those little things, the art within what we're doing. And now, because we don't need a watch, none of us, it's all time, the art has been presented on the front of a watch. Everybody's pulling the dial off, and they're showing the art, but they're also that whole thrash metal thing, right, Johnny, that I was talking about, or musician thing. When metal bands get on stage in the old days, when we were starting out, like Iron Maiden was the king, and every other band, if you're an opening for that band, they only give you a half of the PA system volume and 10 lights. I don't know if anyone knows that. So you look like shit no matter how good you are. So when the light comes on, it's a Grand Poobah thing. Iron Maiden's just like, dude, have it all. Go ahead, try to blow us off the stage. And that's what we have kind of in watchmaking now. It's that same parallel. It's like, you got a tourbillon. What does it do? Oh, it's just a regular tourbillon? Oh, all right. Well, look what I got. You know? And it's so cool to see how this has evolved.
I mean, listen, there's so much to talk to. One of the things that we're going to do within the metal this time around, we're going to try and condense it a little bit. And so, that's not saying that if we get an Eva Loiba on and she wants to talk for 2 hours until it's completely dark where she is, and all you can see are the whites of her eyes and her teeth, we will do that from time to time. But
Yes.
for most, we're going to just try and condense it to about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And
That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, well, that's, hey, we don't make the rules, do we, Jay? It's that's the way the internet goes. Dan said in a message earlier on, people have a 20-second attention span. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Listen, Indie Metal is actually not going to really pay much heed to that. We'll do our thing and just let it happen. So one of the things that I wanted to do was because I haven't spoken to you for so long, Dan, and that was fine. What's going on? What are you doing at the minute? You've relocated. Whenever we started Indie Metal, you were in North Carolina. You relocated to Texas. It didn't. Whatever happened, you didn't settle there, and you moved. I guess closer to family, and in Delray Beach in Florida. So you're there now. What are you working on? What's going on?
I'm still on the tour bus, and it just keeps rolling, bro.
That's cool.
It's in me. I can't sit still. I came back to be closer to family. All my children are here. And, I've spent most of my life down here in Florida, as well as when I grew up in New York. But my parents always brought us back down here, and my grandparents lived down here. So this is a second home to me. And it was time to just be by the beach for a while, clear my head from manufacturing my timepieces, and set up an after-sales service. I just needed to re-input, just like music. You create. Now, you got to take a break, and then all of a sudden, something hits you, and it's time to move to the next thing, which is where I'm at now. I just let some people know behind the scenes that. I have a kind of new design for a flying tourbillon that's never been done before. A new way to look at tourbillon, new way to present it, new way to manufacture it, new way. It's just mind blowing. And it was like, okay, that's I gotta, it's time to slow down the repairs of the ultra complicated and move back towards manufacturing my part for your wrist. But it's got to come out of me. It's the same as you get hit with a song in the old days. It's got to come out. It just has to come out. So that's where I'm at now. I'm in the design stage, and the people behind the scenes know, and there's a list of people already, pre-order list kind of thing. So
that is so exciting. I'm looking forward because this thing is back. We're going to work on it, and I look forward to following the story of your new creation, because I know that that's always been that grail that you've wanted to pursue, was to create your own piece with Dan Spitz on the dial, and I know it's going to be a spectacular creation. So I really look forward to following that, the story of that, and the progress of that piece. But one thing I was delighted to see over the last year or two was that you had settled in Delray Beach. You have Delray Beach watchmaking, and you've been working on all sorts of amazing pieces, doing restorations and doing really manner for you. I would have thought, Dan.
Well, it gives me an update on the more modern watches that are out there, how they're built. So when I build my watch, I'm all about longevity. We have a very big problem where the big companies do not supply parts to watchmakers globally. So you can pay whatever you'd like to pay for a timepiece, and when you walk through my doors, you get this whole wrap that I'm talking about here. Like, okay, you got a nice whatever brand, you can name any brand you want, but in 20 years, let me show you why your watch is landfill, and I don't care what you pay for it. Because you look at a Roger W. Smith watch, it's a pocket watch for your wrist. The gears, the pinions, they're thick, they're beefy. The watch is bigger for a reason, because when he's long gone, and his watch falls on a bench in a workshop like here, where we do have Shaolins, and we're traditionally trained in Switzerland and from a watchmaking school, every single part, every single gear, every single screw, every single spring in his watch can be remanufactured. If it's broken, lost, mutilated by 8 bad watchmakers, which is what I see here every day. Anybody will open a watch now, no matter what it is, and try to hack away. So this solidifies my avenue and my timepieces, no matter how simple or complicated they are. That your money is safe. It truly is generational. When all these new watches, however crazy and futuristic they're looking, the wheels and the pinions and the gears are so paper thin, cut by EDM machines, which is a spark Rouge machine. None of us will ever have that machine in our workshop. So when they decide not to sell you parts, your watch is landfill.
That's quite a thought to consider. And I guess when in the pursuit of ultra thinness, super slimness, you're going to compromise in the longevity or the durability of some of those.
Well, I kind of find it funny because remember, Johnny, in the beginning of Indie, we used to talk about the early clients would be like, "Oh, it's amazing what they're doing. It's crazy. It's breakthrough and this and that." But who's going to repair that when they're gone? It's actually the opposite. It's the brands. That's what I see here every day.
And if you can't buy
the parts,
you're yeah. So Jay, your journey, as you started to explain, and one thing that I actually want to come back with another day with you to go through your story and to talk about maybe a number of your favorite pieces. But when you're looking at contemporary watchmaking today and the dynamics that are shifting, we look at the auction results, for example, when you see the independents that are stealing the show. They are stealing the show. It used to be 10 years ago, if there was a Paul Newman Daytona or something like that, that was the stellar piece in the sale. Nowadays, you've got F.P. Journe, you've got Simon Brett, you've got Bauer, you've got Acrevia, you have all of these incredible brands that people hadn't heard of literally 10 years ago, and they're now jumping on, or not jumping on board. They're now really part of the fabric. What have you seen in recent times or how do you feel about the way the dynamic seems to be shifting?
I think people are looking more into, the real watchmaking, real mechanism, the real things which it wasn't there before. I mean, you had the same watchmakers doing watches for the big guys and being hidden in a way, not knowing, how to sort themselves out. But things change, people like you, people like, some of these people who actually saw the watchmaking as, the passion, the love for, the thing what they do. That's how everything started coming out. For example, Fleming, who knows Fleming? Look at the two little boys who actually got the Louis Vuitton award just a week ago. I mean,
Mona, yeah.
Things like that. It's like it was never. I mean, I used to be in awe when I looked at Ludovic Bullard 15 years ago with his creations, and I was like, this man is a genius. He was just a big giant of a person.
He is, yeah.
So much in his mind, with all of his complications, the upside down, the half, all of them, what he did was insane. Then already, Chaikin, then already, nobody knew who the fuck he was, but he made things which was really something crazy. And these are the watchmakers who actually pave the path to the younger generation right now, who are actually going crazy with their watchmaking. I mean, in Prague, in Budapest, I mean, we have this thing called Indies happening in May. Indies, New York City. It's the fourth show what they put up. It's a salon with independent watchmakers. Hodinky Brekus. All of these guys are going to be there. Edelman from Zeitwinkel is going to be there. it is how this is how it's going to be. The future of watchmaking is not anymore. Of course, the grails are going to be grails. They're going to be the ones which, people are going to pay crazy amount. But the new mindset of people are going to be the ones which is, the independent watchmaking. And I'm sure independent watchmaking for the ones who used to collect the big guys, but also you have these, micro brands who are silently taking over without telling anything to anybody. It's what's going on right now.
You've mentioned some guys like Konstantin Chaikin. We've interviewed Konstantin on in the network. I firmly believe that Konstantin is one of the greatest inventors and innovators in watchmaking, in horology that's ever lived, not just of our time. He has 90 patents and growing, and for concepts and complications and creations that are just what kind of mind thinks these things up? And we're living in this time of absolute incredible creativity, incredible innovation, incredible. Everything is now gone to the extreme levels of sophistication, complication, manufacturing, finishing, and yet a lot of it is going.
There's also the birth of watchmaking schools, very few, going back like the French school that everyone
Morteau
speaking about, like Remy Cool and the Monin. It's the rebirth of, you got to make a school watch, and the school is 7 years instead of 12 to 14 months of just learning how to take a Rolex part out, go to a drawer, get a new part, and swap it because we're in need of just people who can do an overhaul. That's how bad it's gotten. So the schools are flipping to really teach traditional watchmaking, which means going on Shaolin lathes, making balance staffs, and learning how to make gears and pinions, stuff that was lost to industrialization because we were just consuming 1 million Rolexes a year and whatever else the name brand was. But now we're going past that. There's jobs added to the George Daniels books. He used to say you had to learn a certain amount of professions, not just jobs, to do what he did. But now we have to be a CAD. You have to learn CAD and design your watch in CAD. You have to learn CAM to learn how to run CNC machines if you're going to produce more than one watch a year. And you want something to be the same part over and over to be precise. Number 2, number 3, number 4. We all have that. But we have a long list of theoretical things, and everything's based on calculus for us. So our brains are totally fried. We're artists and we're mathematicians. And we have to learn all these different professions. So I really give the props to this young generation because they're harkening back to what I was just speaking about earlier, like Remy Cool's and Monin. Their watches are overbuilt. That's what I call it. It's just built like a tank, and anybody can fix it forever. Your money's safe purchasing timepieces like that, and that's what that school is teaching. That you can do it.
I still think. I agree with you, but I think that the people that we've talked about, the Chaikins, the Ludwig Bayards, the Kari Vitalainens, Andre Strehlers, all of these guys have the Vianes, the Preziosos, the Andersons, go back to Calabrese and Paul Gerber. These guys have blazed the trail that have incentivized and inspired this young generation, and now we're starting to see these incredible
second wave.
And you damn near have to be standing outside the school gates if you want to get one of their watches these days, because as soon as they go on Instagram, they show their new creation. Bang, they're booked up for 6 years.
I just mentioned I was making a flying tourbillon, and it's not a normal flying tourbillon. And it's just insanity now. It's like, take my money. I didn't even finish the CAD yet. To show you, they don't do it. It's like I'll take them all. Me and my friends. Whoa, back up. I want to make. So it truly is, Jay, like what Jay was saying. We are artisans, we're artists. We're just like you know, cooking. It's the same thing. We're not making a watch to tell time anymore. We want to make sure, from our end now, that who is going to get our timepiece, because we can't make that many. We want to get to know you. You know, we want to hang out with you as much as you want to hang out with. We got to work, but like come to the workshop and see what we're doing. It's no bullshit here. We're making every screw and every pinion and hundreds of parts within four walls. Like sometimes it's one crazy madman like me and Alta used to do. Like I am. I'm just like, you know, one guy with sleepless nights. That's the cool part. And we get to hang and have dinner and take that ride. Same as when I used to play music, and you know, in the early days of that type of music, when we used to tour together, all the big four bands, and we would meet people backstage, you know, playing the smaller places as we ramped up, and that hunger you saw in their eyes, you know, like, dude, like I can't believe, wow, this is great. And we were, you know, anti rock star stuff. There's nobody holding an umbrella for us, you know. We were just regular dudes in jeans, you know. It's that same thing. You know, that's what indie is, and it should be, and it should stay that way. Where it's one-on-one, take away all the masks and all the fake stuff and all the PR stuff, because we don't have time for that either. And like Johnny was saying, it's exploded now, and it's just great to see.
It's so rewarding and satisfying to see, because okay, I've been involved in independent watchmaking, in supporting, promoting, advocating, selling where possible. I've held the event that we had in Ireland for 3 years, the Festival of Time, not happening this year, but let's look towards 2027. To see these people, these watchmakers, because I can remember going to events like Baselworld and events like Salon QP in London, and I could stand and talk with Kai Vertelainen or Giuseppe Lexepi or Andreas Strehler or Stepan Sarpaneva or the Grunewald brothers for an hour each. And then I could go and circulate elsewhere in the room and come back and speak to them for another hour. Now you are lucky if you get 5 or 10 minutes in the company of those people. And so to see how that has evolved over the last year, it's so satisfying, but it also is a kind of a vindication, because
I like what Jay was saying too, because we do got to give props to the micro brands too. You know, everyone's welcome. It's the same. Again, I'm going to keep making the music comparisons because I'm the only one who can, right? It's the same. It's like, okay, the first wave of the big four bands happened in the 80s of us and Metallica, Slayer, and Megadeth. And then the second wave came and they were our opening band. We're all friends. We want to hang out with them. We're the same kind. The same passion is there. So there's nothing wrong with everyone joining the party that can. Just be honest in what you're doing and presenting. That's all. Because you never know where that person is going to end up. You know, like this is a deep rabbit hole. I've seen people start in really small brands. They never went to school. They never did anything. They're older. And I get an email, dude, I'm too old to go back to school. Spitz, can you help me? Give me some insight. You know, and they're making a small, you know, it could be a micro brand, whatever it is. I'm like, dude, you're not too old. You can take guitar lessons when you're 60, can't you? What's wrong with you? Like you can learn a lot on YouTube, but you really need a maestro. You need someone who can show you the little things. You know, Hairspring, you did it wrong. Yeah, you made it somewhat flat, but you know, back to your bench, bro. You know, you'll figure it out. You really do need that to build watches that will stand the test of time, not just work when they're brand new. So join the party, man. I'm glad you brought that up, Jay, because I know you're a micro brand dude. You know, there should be an avenue where everyone could get in to the party.
That's what it is. It's a big pie, you know.
Well, that's one thing that we're hopefully going to try and create that kind of a buzz going forward. That because the reason for we're doing this, and folks, just to be clear at the outset, this is not to attract YouTube dollars. This is doing something because it comes from there. It's something that we're passionate about. We've invested a lot of our lives into, and to see where the industry is at the minute, where the independent sector is at the minute, that's what is firing me up for this year. and so we're it's it's as I was saying earlier, it's a vindication of recognizing that talent, that greatness, that historical significance of these watchmakers and their creations 15, 16, 17, 18 years back, when, like, in fairness, some of them were approaching the mid part of their career before the internet, and now we have all these young people are coming up. They've grown up with the internet as an asset. And don't go down.
I got something for you. I showed you guys this before. So I got guys who come in with, like brand name stuff, right? Richard Mille type stuff. So I did an overhaul flow on this. So what I'm seeing here, I'd like to enlighten everybody from my perspective of servicing crazy shit here, like crazy shit, like tourbillons and stuff of just all different brands and perpetual calendars and you see you said Sven Anderson. I have one of his perpetual calendars here. It's just magnificent. And they climb the ladder. They start with a Rolex, and then they say, "Hey, Dan, I'm thinking about a Patek, maybe an Aquanaut or a Nautilus." And it's all those name brand. And I'm going to keep comparing it to music. It's like they're climbing the typical stuff they're fed, in music area. And then they get all the way up to these things, and then he buys another one and another, and they got 3 or 4 of them. And he's like, "What's next? Is there anything next?" And his friend says to him, "There's something called independent watchmaking." And the dude's like, "What's that?" And then he rolls over, and one day the emails will start coming into you like, "Dude, these are the real artists. Holy shit, this is amazing. I'm selling my stuff." And they off the brand stuff because it is very dangerous out there now, globally. Okay, you can't really wear this stuff out in many places right around the world. But India is under the radar. Micro brands is under the radar. You can pretty much go just about anywhere, and that's what I'm seeing them off that stuff. So it's not like one guy in a grass hut, or I shouldn't say grass hut, a wood hut on top of a snowy mountain. That's that story making you stuff anymore. It's that journey. It's like, whoa, you mean I can get in the beginning? And Johnny was mentioning some of them are now in just for investment reasons, right? They see they're not making 10% on their money going in. They can hit it kind of big, So we're all careful and wary about that, and that's why, again, I was saying with my upcoming watch that I want to meet everybody. I want to make sure there's nobody getting a watch that's just going to flip it or put it in a safe, because my watches are also memorabilia, obviously, right? So that's what I'm seeing. That's a big shift. That's big trust. Shift. That's trust. Yeah.
And Jay. Yeah, sorry, I just put you on the spot there, but you can get used to that. It's been an amazing thing to observe what we've been talking about here about the independents and how they've come forward over the last, particularly over the last 20 years, with the advent of the internet and the leverage that has given so many small and independent guys. If you can play your social media correctly,
that's it.
Nobody has an advantage over you. The big brands, they all they can do. It has been. I think it has been a great level.
Look at Jay's doing, right? Jay, you have like a get-togethers, right?
So exactly what I was going to. So we have 3 watch groups which we are connected to. So one of them is Gotham Watch Club, and Gotham Watch Club was created by this gentleman called Watch Chris on YouTube. Very cool. He loves independent brands. He concentrates on micro brands. He's the one who's got this amazing community of watch enthusiasts who are insane with their collection. I mean, yesterday I saw the piece which won the Grand Prix last week. From one of the members who came to my restaurant. So we have these meetings where we talk about watches and only about watches. And
Oh,
I
God.
provide the food and the drinks. And it is so crazy to see people who come with hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollar worth of watches and are so comfortable with the way they are and the way they talk about it. It's insane. So Gotham Watch Club, Complexo, Red Bar, New York City. These are the three main things. We from the Gotham Watch Club, are the ones who are really, getting in the most people right now because we are not like it's not very, it's very open. It's like people are comfortable with the way we are. Yesterday we had this event which said I had a tailor from Saks who makes all my suits and whatever else for occasions. And I was thinking about my people. I said, listen, but let's call a small bunch of people and see if they want to do something, for themselves. So we are combining different things, but the main focus was watches because one of them was wearing the timepiece which won the Grand Prix. You know what I mean? So things which you never would have seen. Now this is Brooklyn. I remember Basel World when Ludovic asked me if they could come with 50 independent watchmakers to my restaurant at Jason Ackermanshof, and we had the names of Rexepis, Trailers, Bullard, all of them in my restaurant. Had a 3-course meal with their drinks and a prefix, fee, and they were all there. I saw all of them. Then you remember that they used to have a pavilion where they all were in one place, like the Bethunes, and they were all there. You see what I mean? And this is what it is. This was nearly 15 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Think about it now. You have the second generation, the third generation doing incredible work, but also being the same level of what they were. David Kondo came to my restaurant with 15 people, and he is another insane watchmaker. I mean, you see how grateful and how humbled I feel when I'm in front of all of these people, looking at those pieces firsthand, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, this is insane. And that's what it is. This is the reason why I'm so grateful that I came into this rabbit hole, and I'm still trying to dig out of it, but I can't. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you understand some of the parallels to when I parallel it to music and the heavy music, thrash metal, underground, punk?
Yes.
It's all the same. If I could parallel your story in music exactly, because we're all talking to each other behind the scenes. All the names that you've named,
Yes.
most of them I've got to school together at our
100%.
special school at Neuchatel in the old days, right?
Yes.
We all within a year or two or three, we all went to that school. Some were asked to stay on and be teachers, like Carrie or like Luca, and we all there. So we're all still in contact, and we're all the same thing. We're very happy to see the second wave, and it's like the second wave of music. Or like when I was part of the first band that fused heavy metal and hip hop. It didn't exist before Anthrax at all. So to watch that evolve into bands like Korn or Limp Bizkit and all the other bands, it's the same thing that's rolling on, and we appreciate you and the people that are following us that deep and have the understanding for our art, just like you appreciate our art. Because
Of course.
You're an artist too, right? We're all kind of grouped together. We're still that same outcast as heavy metal people are when we're in high school. We don't feel like we fit in at all, right? That's why I play guitar. I didn't fit in anywhere else. So it's that same thing. We get to express our art, and we'd love to meet you along and take you along our journey somehow, and take you into the insanity that we do, making invisible parts. That it's crazy. It's absolutely mind blowing that you can do that, and have the precision to do that, and it becomes.
I can tell you, what an addition to our team, Jay. it I'm so much looking forward to to taking in the metal forward, to having yourself, to have Dan, to have some of the other names that I mentioned to you earlier who are on a rotating basis. But I really want to next time that we're on, it'd be great to get talking about about the Gotham Watt Club, about the Red Bar, and to understand what's going on within those communities, and how that is. How the information is filtering down to them, the excitement when there's new pieces coming along, and it just there's so much to learn. It feels. I tell you what it feels like. I'm trying to condense everything into one 45 minutes now episode. Let's say, folks, this is going to be some fun.
Because we've explained in our older shows, in the first generation, how, you can't you can decide you want to build a watch and say in the United States. It's impossible. There's no industry. You can't even get the metal. And I'm a metal guy. You can't even get the right stuff. It doesn't exist here. So all the struggles are all part of the history of what independent is. And it should really be, noted down. You can't just go to Switzerland and say, I'd like 4 screws of these 10 different sizes, because I'm building a prototype, and if I get enough orders, I should be able to make eight of these a year, and I'll need 40 screws then. And they're like, we sell 10,000 screws is our minimum, so you'd have to come up with 30 grand for each size. That was the struggle we all had, and then we were forced to find our own avenues and our own ways. And behind the scenes, that camaraderie. Luckily with the internet, that we can connect to each other, and this guy would be like, oh, my cousin can make screws, and this guy's like, well, how about this guy can get this because he's making a big order, works at a big company, and we'll just buy a little bit from him. And that's how we all did it. And it was the same way in the beginning of music. No one booked our shows, not that kind of music. We didn't sound like Bon Jovi, right? It's the same thing, man. It's the struggle. So it's good that everyone can see that now and talking about it.
Well, the struggle starts right here, because this is the first episode of 2026. It's been, I'm not going to say how long it's been, but it's been too damn long. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, and the stories that we'll hear. And folks, for all of you who've joined us tonight for this kind of reunion, this breaking the ice episode, I hope you've enjoyed it, because I have been buzzing about this for days on end, and I'm looking forward to coming back again, hopefully next week, and then the week following that is Geneva. So let's see if I can quickly learn how to get on my phone and do some social stuff for In the Metal while I'm over there. But really looking forward to coming back. To Dan, man,
I think if everyone's a watch crazy of any kind of watch crazy dude, you need to head to this dude's restaurant, because he'll probably come out and stop cooking and doing whatever he'll do. They probably chew your ear off for like 3 hours. He's not even going to let you out of his restaurant. He's chasing you down the street to your car. I'm talking about watches.
I want to be there.
We all have to
this amazing feeling of being here, of in front of Dan and in front of you, Johnny. This is like surreal for me. I mean, I've moved from India to Switzerland, now back to to Brooklyn. The community, but this here is insane. I mean, I've always tried to watch you guys, and I've always seen you guys with these amazing knowledge of what happens in this little mechanism, which is which for me is more than anything else. Being a chef and trying to chase situations, trying to do things, and also getting the community together was always my my primary goal. Now this in front of you guys and being a part of what you guys have already put in front of all of us is amazing. Thank you very much for this.
And we appreciate it. And as I say, just so you know how how I afforded to purchase all my guitars and amplifiers when I was a teenager. I worked in every freaking restaurant there was.
There you go. There you go.
I would work my way up to busboy, and eventually I was cooking in a Jewish restaurant, but it was mainly seafood restaurants up to that. I got some stories for you, some kind of shady restaurant stories. But yeah,
We got to talk about it. Yeah.
Other guys, we busboyed, and two of us could do the whole restaurant, but we wouldn't let anyone else like work. We're like, we want all the money. New Yorkers, we're fast, we kick ass. And all that money went to, like, I would save it and save it and save it, and then go down to 48th Street, Music Row in Manhattan, and that's where I would buy my guitars with my restaurant earned money.
This is what it is. Everybody.
I am the world's worst at wrapping things up. I've tried about 3 times already. So what I want to do is I want to thank Dan for coming back and joining us and telling us about what's going on. I'm so much looking forward to following what's going on with your Flying Tourbillon and all of the amazing things that you're working on. Jay, I'm just delighted to have had your company tonight, and has so much to talk about going forward as well. And folks, In the Metal is what it is. We'll find it. I don't actually really know what it is yet. We're going to find out as we move forward. And but I hope one thing's for sure: you'll come back, you'll join us again, and we will do this again, hopefully in the next week or so. Yes. And we'll look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, folks, thank you so much for joining us.
Talk to you.